Welcome to Formula One. Welcome to Championship season, where you'll become one of the elite on the grid vying for success. Now it's your turn. Travel the world and take part in the ultimate racing event. This is Championship Season Mode. After an eventful pre-season testing, here we are at the first race weekend of the season. Welcome back to Formula One. The question on everyone's lips is which teams have solved their pre-season issues and which teams already have the performance to start out as early leaders. The teams will be visiting tracks across 5 continents as they battle it out for both the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championships. What race on the calendar do you think the teams will have a special eye on this year?
Well, I think the teams will be looking forward to the Mexican Grand Prix, which is being held back at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. It was last run way back in 1992.
This year sees Honda return to the sport, reforming one of the greatest partnerships in F1 history with McLaren. Do you think they can rekindle the success they had during the 80s and the 90s?
It won't be easy, but yes, I think so. It's been a tough few years for McLaren with the loss of Hamilton, Mercedes withdrawing as a shareholder and major investor in the team, and losing technical director Paddy Lowe. This could mark the start of their return to prominence.
Okay, Jeff here. Radio check seems good. Before we get started, I just want to tell you how much I'm looking forward to working with you. Your success is my success, so let's give it our all. If you need anything, just let me know. as it's the first time the car has run since winter testing. stiff rear suspension, but a little tweak with negative camber or toe-in can also help with this. At the moment, Nico's 3/10 faster than you. Some of the understeer with less rear wing or softer front springs. You might want to run a lower fuel mixture whilst we're in practice, save the engine for qualifying in the race. 5 kilos of fuel in the tank, just 5 kilos of fuel remain. Close to using up the load. Pit in within 2 laps. Remaining in the session.
Practice times are not always indicative of qualifying or race day performance, but Nico Rosberg's P1 time is impressive, and I think he'll be right up there when he's back on the track tomorrow. Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. We'll soon learn the true performance of these cars out on track. What can we expect to see in the following session?
Well, I think we're all expecting the Mercedes power unit to be particularly strong this year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them at the front. But I wouldn't discount Red Bull or Ferrari just yet. We know they have the talent and the resources to react to any problem, so although they may be playing catch-up, I would expect them to bring some major upgrades pretty early, maybe before we even get back to Europe.
What a drive by Nico Rosberg. He's got the fastest lap of the session and is on pole position for tomorrow's race.
We certainly appreciate how good a qualifying lap that was. Truly spectacular. Now, can he deliver the same type of performance tomorrow? I, for one, cannot wait to find out.
It's nearly 5 o'clock here local time, and welcome to race day here in Melbourne, Australia. The cars are on the grid and they should be setting off shortly for the formation lap. What a great start to the season for Nico Rosberg. He's on pole for today's race. He'll be delighted with how qualifying went yesterday, but knows there's a lot of hard work to come before he can secure that race win.
Well, Nico will be focused on the task at hand. He's on pole position, he's proven his speed, and if he can just stay out in front, he should be able to create a gap. So I think he's got a good chance of victory today, as long as he has no car issues along the way.
It was a disappointing day for Fernando Alonso yesterday. He's starting further down the grid than he would have liked, but he'll still be hoping for a strong result today.
Well, Fernando is a great starter, and he'll be looking to make up a few places on that first lap to try and get himself back into a position that he's more familiar with.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy. causing a collision. The track is clear. Green flag. That's P12. You're into P12. Has just made a pass for the lead. They look okay for now, but we can see the wear. If you can't feel it already, then you'll certainly start too soon. Just be careful. Just posted the fastest lap of the race. That move was illegal. Return the position. We've now lost about 25% of our starting fuel, so that's 3/4 left. The car should be feeling a bit lighter now. revs. We don't want to get a penalty. Go, go, go. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Sainz is in the pit lane now. Worth of spare fuel in the car. You won't be able to run in mix 3 for long with that much, but do burn it if you need to. Right, 50% fuel remaining. 50% of our starting fuel load remains. Tyres are overheating. Easy into the next few corners. We need to cool them. Situation. We're good for the time being, but you are going to start to notice the wear, so make sure it doesn't catch you out. You're closing in on button by around 1 second per lap. Verstappen's losing a second a lap to you. He's dropping behind. The gap between you and Button is around 5 seconds now. Keep putting the pressure on him.
And that's a win for Nico Rosberg at the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. What a result for this German driver.
What a fantastic result for Nico. He'll be so happy to start the season on such a positive note.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye and see you again next time. Welcome to today's practice session at the Sepang International Circuit. We're approximately 60 kilometers south of Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. This 5.5 kilometer track provides all of the things that a racing driver could want of a circuit. So after the first race, how do you think this season will compare to previous years?
Well, I hope that we're in for a fantastic season. The Mercedes team have certainly come out of pre-season testing the strongest, which is all well and good, but it's the racing where the pace really counts. It's always difficult to predict, therefore, who's going to come out on top.
The new regulations for this year say goodbye to the somewhat unique nose designs that we saw on the 2014 cars.
The 2014 changes were brought in to promote safety, but I don't think it was anticipated how the teams would exploit the regulations. This year, those regulations have been tightened up to give us a more traditional look to the noses on the 2015 cars.